the Guard Theater for letting us have this event in this beautiful lobby. This is truly an icon for our community and a prime example of downtown revitalization. So to the Guard Theater and all of their staff, thank you very, very much. And if we could have a round of applause, please. We have several people who are here this evening who are involved in politics. And those people need to be recognized. And I'd like to thank them for their support prior to announcing their names. And you can hold the applause until the end. Former State Senator Mark Powers. Former New London Mayor and State Rep Jay Levin. Former New London Mayor Tony Basilica. Former Board of Education Chair Gwen Basilica. Former New London Mayor, the matriarch, Peg Curtin. Former New London Mayor, Bill Sadak. Former Norwich Mayor, Ben Lathrop. And our future Montville Mayor, my friend, Billy Karen. Former New London City Councilor, Reed Burdick. Our probate judge, Matt Green. Current Groton City Mayor, Dennis Pop. This person is not involved in politics and has told me this many times, but he is another pillar of our community, Reverend Daniel Martino. We also have Deputy House Majority Leader, as my friend as well, Ernest Hewitt. We have our Planning and Zoning Chairman, Mark Christensen, and former Chairman, Joe Heap. If I forgot anyone, it's not my fault. I have assigned some people. Oh, how could I forget Johnny Rocket? Also, former City Councilor John Maynard. Thank you guys for your support. I will not let you down. Hey! So tonight, we come here after listening to many people in our community. I've had various discussions with people from various backgrounds, with various interests. And I want to thank everyone for being genuine with me, because that's what the city needs. It needs a wake-up call. People have told me what they felt and asked me to keep it confidential. People have said, you can use my name. I've been saying this for years. So I want to thank you, and I will sum up the feeling that I got from all of the people who have given me feedback. So thank you for letting me in your living room. Thank you for having coffee with me. Thank you very much for your input. So after I was listening to everyone, I came up with an analogy of New London. And you can turn it any way you'd like, but I think this is as accurate as I can get to sum up New London. New London is like an airplane. And it's on the runway, going to depart from the city of potential. And all of the passengers are the taxpayers. And they paid their way. And they're ready to fly to the city of prosperity. And all of the taxpayers get on the plane, and they're buckled in, and they're happy, they got great ideas, and they're sitting there, and they're wondering why the plane isn't taking off. There was no pilot. There was no leader. So, a leader on the plane steps up, says, I'll do it. I'm going to fly this plane. As that leader gets up and starts headed towards the cockpit, two guys grab him. No, 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 no. We've done it this way for years. Sit down. This is not the right way to do it. Just go sit down. You're not ready. You can't do it. So the gentleman goes and sits down, very frustrated because he wants to make a difference. Then a woman gets up and she's ready to fly this plane. No, 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 no. You just want to be a hero. You're just doing it for self-serving purposes. We just sit down, we'll figure it out. Well, after a long while, all you see on the plane is this. Fingers pointing at each other. It's your fault. Well, it's your fault. Well, it's your fault. No, I had this idea. Well, we should have left early. Well, maybe we'll wait a little bit. And as everyone's pointing their fingers at each other, the plane is still on the ground. And while we're on the ground in London, all the other cities are flying. And those are the planes that are going by us. Well, tonight, New London, it's time to take off.
Yay!
People want their tax dollars to be spent wisely. It's very simple. They want to know what the priorities are of a mayor. And those priorities come from listening to people within the community, as well as a combination of leadership skills. In almost every home and business, there's a level of frustration at the slow improvements to the city of New London. And we talk about it over and over and over again. The city of potential. This has fragmented our government. And as the outsiders see the frustration, me being on the council the past almost 4 years, I get frustrated as well. And it's become extremely difficult to bring people together, but you still have to do it. You still have to try. You never give up. This year, we can finally do something about it. I'm tired of hearing about the city of potential. I know you're tired of politicians telling you what's going to happen, but time is running out. And I want to achieve it. And that's why I'm running for mayor of New London. In just a few years on the council, while I was new to politics, I certainly was not new to New London. And there was a problem getting new businesses into our storefronts. I proposed a rent subsidy program that was supported by the full council, and we encouraged 15 businesses to open up and utilize that incentive. During that time, as chairman of public safety, I initiated a program called Program Review. Every program in the city was analyzed, broken down, and prioritized. And we identified that year alone $3.5 million in potential savings. A significant amount of money. And there are people in this room who helped me do that. I believe the new mayor, the real mayor, needs to have a proven background in economic development to finally move this city forward. We have a prime example of what may happen to the city of New London with the wrong leadership. And if people are familiar with Edgerton School in the city of New London, it's a tragedy. The neighborhood deserves more. Edgerton School, and I have a picture. Can everyone see that? This building has been vacated for almost 5 years. This is a school that closed down, and now the neighborhood has to live with this. People sleeping in the school. This picture was taken the other day. Vandalism, not being kept up. Part of my program and platform is not only to get that developed, but we have a similar situation coming up And for anyone who has pride and wants to take ownership of those issues in New London, Harbor School will be closing soon. And someone has to be thinking about that now. I have reached out to the chairman of Planning and Zoning and said, what are we going to do with that building? We can no longer wait for people to come to us, and as mayor of New London, I will go to them.
All right, Mike.
Thank you, sir. I feel there's another property, Lighthouse Inn. Lighthouse Inn is the same situation. You have to encourage people that New London is the right place to do business. And through that process, it needs to be streamlined and open for business. And as I look around this room, what that means is jobs. And to my left, I see a lot of people who are union members who are looking for fair wages and jobs. I've advocated for them, and I've also advocated for non-union, because they're part of the solution and not part of the problem. And so when I read about unions and non-union, when you communicate with people, it's amazing what happens. You normally end up with a compromise. So I want to thank you, because not everything has been gravy for unions, and not everything has been gravy for non-unions. It's a tough environment for jobs. I advocated for New London residents, as well as Southeastern Connecticut residents, for $61 million in improvements to our schools in the city of New London. And I can tell you now, due to a change in leadership, I bet there's less than 5 people from New London working on those schools. And if I'm wrong, someone please come up and correct me. Thank you. I want to talk about education. Education affects all of us. And we have to give every student, every child an opportunity to at least get the basic skills to afford that person a skill. College is not for everyone. And I can give you a statistic that will open your eyes. 25% of New London high school graduates graduate college. My focus will be on the other 75%. Those kids need to know that they are not failures. My grandmother graduated junior high school, and she did just fine. My father barely graduated high school, and he did just fine. There are careers. There is carpentry. There is cosmetology. There is entertainment. You go on the list. You have to capture that child's passion, and we need to support them. So as I sit here tonight, stand here tonight, I tell you, the kids who are graduating, they're going to graduate. I will focus on and work with the Board of Education as well as the teachers to build a curriculum that will afford an opportunity for every student. And let's not kid ourselves. Not every student's going to take advantage of these programs, but at least we give them a chance. I also want to talk about long-term, and that's preschool. We have students now that go to the Friendship School